Kay Bailey Hutchison of Texas. Thank you for joining us, Senator. Let me ask you the question then that Gene Sperling poses. Why should all the burden be on the middle class and the seniors? Why shouldn't special interest and those making millions also share that burden?
Well, we don't think that there should be a burden on the middle class. We don't think that people are paying too low taxes in this country. We think the government is spending too much. The only growth sector that we've had in the last 2 years in America is government growth. That's not the way to come out of this massive $14 trillion debt burden that most surely is going to affect the middle class. And so I think the answer is not to tax anyone further, but to cut government spending.
What do you think that as a proportion of the population watching you now believes that a 14 trillion debt pile cannot be cut without tax increases? What percentage of people do you think actually agree with the position in the general public, not your immediate circle?
I don't know what the general public is looking at for tax increases, but I don't think people want to pay more in taxes. And I certainly don't think employers who are facing the burden of the huge cost of Obama health care want to look at further tax increases and then say that they're being encouraged to hire people. We have a 9.1% unemployment rate in this country. You can't keep taxing and over-regulating business as this administration is trying to do, and then expect to have an economic recovery with employment bouncing back.
So do you support the president in his suggestion that there would be an extension to the payroll tax cut?
Well, I think the payroll tax cut does help some. It helps the individual who's working and the employer. But the huge burden of the Obama health care costs is what is really on businesses' mind, and why people are not hiring right now, because they're looking at the potential of tax increases because the president talks about it so much, and then on the other side, the looming increase in their expenditures on Obama health care. It's really daunting.
I'd be really interested to hear what you think will happen if we bump up against the August 2 debt ceiling deadline. What do you think will happen if one of the major rating agencies suspends America's AAA rating? What happens, do you think?
Well, I do think that no one in their right mind wants to have the debt ceiling not extended and have any kind of a default. We don't want that. But on the other hand, it is not going to give the world confidence that we are going to handle our overwhelming debt responsibly if we don't take huge measures to reform our tax code and also the spending in this country. We need to keep taxes low, lower them where we can, and on the other hand, cut the spending that is so overburdening the middle class and everyone else in this country. I think the signal that we would send by saying we are not going to vote for a debt ceiling increase without major reforms, it should be a signal of integrity and that we are going to take the reins of our future.
Senator Hutchison, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Straight ahead on Power Lunch, bullish or bearish, consumer staples or energy? Will the